there, Raven fans, Oriole fans. Thank you for joining us this week on our Ravery Sports podcast for fans like me. If you like all the content, like and subscribe to all of our social media content. So we're watching this now. You're watching this on our Twitch page, on our X page, and our YouTube channel. We're premiering that, getting some viewers on Rumble. Thank you very much for all of you out there on Rumble that have checked us out. Facebook is still there, so definitely you could go on the Ravery Sports Facebook page and check us out. You could check out all of our Ravery Sports merchandise at raverysports.company.site. So definitely check that out. All of our social media pages have a link to the website. So definitely, if you want to go on the website and check out all of our merchandise, we can go ahead and get that. Today we're rocking our Orioles hat. This on the website. This is not on there, but I've decided Ravens Big Easy Victory Super Bowl shirt, vintage Raven stuff. So that's kind of what we specialize in, kind of like our older Raven stuff here at Ravery Sports. So definitely check that out. raverysports.company.site as well. Couple things. Sunday, our NFL preseason predictions video. So all larger NFL content. Sunday, we will go ahead and have that for you. Ravens preseason predictions on there for Sunday. So definitely don't hesitate to go ahead and check that out. And our Genesis Notary Services live stream is on Monday. So all of you in the Shenandoah Valley, check it out. I will not be wearing this. I'll be wearing my notary outfit like I go to my notary appointments. Won't be selling hats and jerseys. I'll be wearing my notary outfit. For those of you that want to see that, maybe see something else, won't be wearing my hat. And definitely we'll be talking about the notary business. We're going to be talking about my wedding efficient. If you need any questions, anybody out there, they have anything for the notary business, definitely going to be going in a little bit more depth about how the notary business works in the Shenandoah Valley for all of you that need that. And see, Charles Harris, we are LegalShield.com. Definitely the value of that is tremendous. Definitely, if you are looking for any legal assistance, legal help, see Charles Harris. We are LegalShield.com. Definitely, absolutely check that out. If you have any questions or concerns or anything like that, definitely check it out. Charles Harris, we are LegalShield.com. So absolutely not going to be doing a Legal Shield live stream quite yet because I'm doing a lot, but look for that soon as well. Not too far away from that, getting a Harris Legal Shield live stream. So, Raven fans, let's get down to the business of the NFL. We're here one more week. Last week without a game. Last weekend without a game for quite a while. So the Ravens Unleashed season kickoff spectacle, rather. We are going to talk about the Ravens season starting today. The cuts happened. The practice squad, the cuts happened yesterday. They announced the 53-man roster late yesterday. Ravery Sports got 52 of the 53 names right on the 53-man. I mean, it was exactly almost how I predicted it Wednesday, with the exception of Owen Wright, who broke his foot in the game, and I guess we'll never know. Rasheen Ali starts the season as the third running back. So 52 of 53. I didn't see that anywhere else. So outstanding stuff there, as well as happy about that. We got a lot of those right as far as predictions. So what happened? Who got waived? A lot of these happened on Monday, I believe, this list here. Jack Browning was in camp. Mike Bridgerman, Sean Ryan, Riley Sharp, Darnell Simpson, Tremel Watford, and they terminated the contract of Russell Gage. Gage really didn't get much of a chance to play. They're a little bit of a surprise. I think they probably just used a vet as a camp body. Sometimes they do that. Sean Ryan had a good camp last year, kind of not quite as good this camp, so didn't make it. Was cut pretty early. Also cuts Julian Pearl, CJ Ravenel, Yandy Rigby, Josh Ross, Dayton Wade, Demarion Williams, better known as Pepe, Kadar Holloman, John Kelly, Keith Kirkwood, Anthony Miller. All right, we're on that list. Okay, a little bit here. Josh Ross, I know some people had him making the 53. I think he was kind of just left off. Interesting to see how guys like this go around the league, because with the new kickoff rules, I think you're going to see smaller guys on the kickoff returns, less physicality. Teams might be going for one speed. Dayton Wade had a good camp. I mean, there's no questioning that. I mean, he was pretty good. I don't think there was really a spot for a receiver unless they took 7. I don't think the receivers weren't great. So I understand why some people like Dayton Wade. I would have had no problem, by the way, either if they had taken him. I didn't think they would, but I had no problem if they had left Dayton Wade and left Hardy off. So I had no problem. I didn't think they were going to do that. Demarion Williams, Pepe Williams. I think the handwriting was on the wall for him before the season even started. Look what they did in the draft. They went out and they got Nate Wiggins. They got TJ Tampa. That kind of tells you what they kind of thought. They also had 2 starters ahead of them anyway, with Marlon Humphrey and Brandon Stevens. So I thought his shot was long anyway. I think they already had Arthur Millette. I think Jalen Armour Davis had a good camp, a little bit better than him. So I think he got the final spot. I don't think there was another spot for either one had Arthur Millette not gotten injured. So I think these are just the cuts. We'll get to the practice squad and who got brought on the practice squad, et cetera, here in a second. Because there's a lot here. More wave players: Corey Bullock, Chris Collier, Bump Cooper, Malik Cunningham, Darian Dahlhurt, Joe Evans, Quieter Ishmael, Emory Jones, Devin Leary, Tayshawn Manning. Okay, so we'll get to the practice squad and all that in a second. Final 53, Quieter Ishmael, definitely his father played for the Ravens, so that definitely does help. He was probably considered the 4th best tight end in camp by a lot of things I'm hearing. So, but he didn't make it. I didn't think there was any chance those 3 were knocked out of that. So it was an uphill battle. Malik Cunningham at wide receiver. Other people like him more than I've always liked him. I think he's a pretty good athlete, but I don't know if he has a position in the NFL. Emory Jones, Devin Leary. I didn't think either one of them was that good. I thought Leary was just atrocious in camp. Emory Jones, I think at least decent enough at the end of one preseason game. Tayshawn Manning was interesting. I heard some people thought that he might have made the 53-man roster. I saw that and read that in a couple places, a couple other sources out there. I kind of didn't think that he would make the roster. I think that was kind of just almost an anti-Salah vote with Tayshawn Manning. I think he was probably the next best out of it. Had they had a couple openings, I definitely think that would have that could have happened in his case. Dedrin Sanat, injury settlement. Josh Tapanu, injury settlement. Basically, what that means is they were kind of, if they were injured and you waive them, you can't just cut them and you have to pay them, give them some. I'm not exactly sure how the money works, but you can't, like, if somebody breaks their arm or breaks their foot or get injured on the field, you have to kind of give them something as far as that goes. And Daryl Worley, Dayton Jennings, Deion Jennings, Christian Matthew, Trayvon Mullen. Couple of those guys were injured. Worley, you'll probably see him in the Ravens before again. This happens like every year with him. There's going to be injuries. This is the first person they're going to call. He knows that as well. Trayvon Mullen can't really stay healthy. I think he's good in camp, but really can't stay healthy. I think he's probably good enough to be an NFL player. Does he have the physicality to be healthy enough to be an NFL player? Couple more things. PUP, Keaton Mitchell. He's definitely going to be on the roster. Probably second half of the year. PUP physically unable to form. He's going to miss the first 4 games. Malik Ham, injury. I don't think he'll play at all this year. Arthur Millette, IR, injured reserve, designated to return. Not sure with Millette. I haven't heard as much. All they would say in camp is it's not season ending. I think I, I'm kind of getting the vibe it's not as bad as Keaton Mitchell, but I'm not exactly sure. They're not going to be available for the first quarter of the season for sure. Now, practice squad. Who are all of those guys we mentioned? Cuts, Anthony Miller, as far as going to be on the practice squad. So this is going to be the first practice squad. What is a practice squad? Guys who are not on a 53-man roster, but the team is retaining them for practice purposes. Okay, so they'll be at the facility every day. They'll be in the playbook every day. They'll be in and out of the building. They're just not eligible to suit up for games. They don't get a salary in terms of active roster, but they do get something. I don't know what a practice squad guy gets. I think it's different for vets and young players, but they don't have to pay them for roster, but they'll be there in the building every day, getting ready, and they'll be the first ones to pull up. Thing about practice squad as opposed to 53, in large part, if you are able to, another team is able to pull your practice squad guy. So what happened like a couple years ago, give a great example. Ravens wanted to put Ben Mason on practice squad. Ben Mason was a fullback, and he goes and signs with New England, right? So you can pull a guy from the practice squad if he's not on 53. 53, you can't pull a guy off the first 53 roster. Once a guy's on a 53, then he's protected from another team. So these guys are not protected, but they're allowed to be on the team and practice. A couple years ago, they do have a rule where it used to be just young players. Nowadays, you can have vets, right? You can have Anthony Miller, a Kadar Holloman, to use those two. I just said that. They're on the screen here. But you can have guys like that, vets, that can play on the practice squad and pull them when you and pull them when you need them. So those were the first two. A lot of these guys, almost all of them, were recent cuts. CJ Ravenel, Devin Leary. I'm surprised that he was taken on the practice squad. He was bad. He was not good. I don't think Emory Jones made it. So I was a little surprised to see that it was him over Devin Leary. But I did think, though, with his draft position, they see something. So a lot of work to do. I'd be surprised if he sees the field at all this year. But they're going to keep him on practice squad. Keith Kirkwood, not bad camp. I mean, had his moments. Darian Dalcourt, Dayton Wade, for sure they were going to take him. I mean, I thought you could argue he was the best receiver overall camp as well. Malik Cunningham, tremendous athlete. Chris Collier, Joe Evans, Quadair Ishmael, Joe Evans, Josh Ross, John Kelly, Bump Cooper, all on the practice squad there as well. So that's pretty much how it shook out there. I'm trying to think if I forgot one. I don't think I did. Yeah, that's everybody. So that's the practice squad. That's what it's going to look like. So these guys are going to go ahead and back up the first 53 on practice squad. So that is the way that's going to go. Interesting how this goes as the first game. Ravens, I got to tell you, and I'm going to bring this up, and this is to some degree, it's going to sound like a whiny content creator thing, like they're, because it is to a degree that, but it kind of goes to the larger point that I'm trying to make here. The Ravens, of all the 32 teams, they were 32 releasing the rosters. Looking at the rosters yesterday, when teams released them, they had to have everything done Tuesday at around 4 o'clock. I'm recording this on a Wednesday night. So Tuesday around 4 o'clock, you had to have everything done. So all the players had to be cut. You had to make your decisions on your final 53, turn into the league, everything done Tuesday at 4 o'clock. A lot of teams around the league had theirs done. I was at work, and the Jaguars one, I think, was already out at 3 o'clock, the final 53. A lot of teams was already out earlier in the day. The Ravens didn't release theirs until, I think it was 8:30. I didn't see it before 8:30. It could have been. Now, a lot of us content creators or whatever people like we're kind of whining about it because one, you want to get work done, right? It's just waiting. Now, what's the point of that? Because that's it, they're just releasing the roster. So what? The point of that, this is kind of the philosophy on everything, right? The Ravens slow walk everything. Everything is a no rush. Everything, hey, well, we're going to wait to the last day to sign Lamar. We're going to wait to the last second to sign man, but we're going to wait to the last. That is their mantra here. It's worked for so many years, but they wait. Oh, it's a competitive thing. Oh, we can't. Oh, we got to wait to the last. This is kind of their model of success, just waiting everything. Something nobody would think about, right? Releasing the 53-man roster and they just waited till 8:30 to do it. So, but that's the point with the Ravens. The Ravens kind of are very patient with everything. They do not move fast. So that I think that's the point to bring that up with that. This is our prediction. Harbaugh did not want to say who it was to start the offensive line. This is what our final prediction is. Ronnie Stanley, Andrew Voorhees, Tyler Linderbaum, Daniel Falele, Roger Rosengarten. That's the five I think that's going to start in the first game. I think Falele, we apologize for that spell wrong. Voorhees, I think Voorhees and Rosengarten I'm not worried about as young guys. I think there were mistakes by them, but they haven't really played at all. So you're going to do that. Ronnie Stanley really haven't probably much been in bubble wrap. Linderbaum's back at practice. Falele looks horrible. He mentioned having a rotation. I'm almost guaranteeing that. He said at tackle, he doesn't mind rotating. He's going to rotate a guard too. I want to say this about Ben Cleveland as well. Ben Cleveland did make the roster as well. The Ravens are tearing 10 linemen, as I predicted in the prediction. They're carrying 10. Nick Samak, Ben Cleveland, McCarty, Sala is also on there. And that was the last one. Josh Jones. Josh Jones is on there as well. So they're carrying 10. They're going to rotate a lot. I don't think that this is a final. I'll say this. I've really looked at the whole because Falele has just not looked good in camp. I would say this. I've really asked and trying to see why Ben Cleveland isn't playing more at right guard. Because it kind of just doesn't make. I mean, you can't be that happy with Falele and where he's starting. I'm looking at the two, and there's some mental things I'm seeing, but I really do think that there's something more here than what we know. I mean, you can't be looking at Falele and say, well, this guy is the future of our football team at guard as well. I think they may be looking to make a move of some kind. Of course, they were going to say that, but it's interesting to see. It seems like they're going to go into Arrowhead on Thursday night and on next Thursday night and play Daniel Falele at right guard. Got me. Wow. So that's what it's going to be. I'm predicting that as far as the starting lineup. They did carry two quarterbacks. Some people, there was a rule now where they can no longer just elevate a quarterback off the practice squad. Here's a problem that they have. They're not any good. Like, it doesn't matter anyway. You're not going to play Devin Leary anywhere. They're going to have to go out and get somebody. The thought process is, I'm sure, it's not a problem yet. We're not going to worry about it yet. Lamar's going to play, and it may not matter, and so we'll worry about it when it comes. They certainly have nobody else that can start for them. That's definitely a problem. So we will see what happens with that. With the first game on Monday. I'm sorry, not on Monday. On next Thursday, we'll be here before the game reviewing it. The last player list. Next week, we're going to do coaches next Wednesday night. And let's go over the lists of safeties in the NFL. Top 10 list of safeties in the National Football League. Who are the 10 best safeties in the league? Interesting. Again, safety, defensive back, these positions have really changed over the years, have really... Hi, Raven fans. Or I'm sorry, Raven fans. Or there you go. Here. Thank you. All right. All right. The little Ravery wanted the phone so I could talk about the 10 best safeties in the NFL. Okay, so safety is a thing in the NFL where it's tough to tell nowadays. Guys don't, the positions are unclear. A lot of them play nickel, things like that. Depends on a lot more zone now than it was, a little less hitting. So it's different to pick 10. But these are the 10. When I look at the 10 best, all right, I'm picking 10 guys I could put on any team, not just the team they're playing on. 10 guys I could play on any team. Okay, so Hufanga for the 49ers. Can't go wrong with a Samoan there at the top. The Niners have great defense. I mean, I think they definitely are one of the better defenses in the NFL. This is one of their leaders, believe it or not. So definitely this is one of the guys there. Really, I think in terms of a hitter, very underrated. You almost don't even hear that term anymore. This guy is a hitter, but this guy is absolutely a hitter. This guy controls the middle of the defense, absolutely makes guys look away from him, but guys throwing the other way. So this guy is a guy. Some injury issues. That's the only thing here with him. This is why he's probably not higher, but absolutely a guy. I definitely put him in the top 10 with his hitting ability, the way he hits. Absolutely put him in the top 10. Marcus Williams. Williams, I think, still is the real deal. I think the only thing is, again, keeping him healthy on the field for 16 games. His range is as good as anybody you see in the league in terms of like covering ground, sideline to sideline, cooling. Definitely, I mean, the only thing with him, he definitely has trouble with injuries. He's had a couple trouble with injuries. But I think otherwise, even with the injuries, I think Marcus Williams is fantastic. Does everything well. Just got to keep that availability up. Not a great hitter, in my opinion. That's probably the other thing. More of like the opposite, like more of the ball hawk here. But I think Marcus Williams is for real. I have him at 9. I think you could put Marcus Williams on any team, and he would be really good. Javon Holland, very, very, very underrated. So the Dolphins, I don't love their defense a lot. I don't think they have some players, but Javon Holland, I think, is one of their top 3 players on their defense, right up there with Jalen Ramsey. Definitely here's a guy here who's definitely improved the last few years. Definitely a guy who can see the whole field. His vision is great. I really like the way he sees the field, reads defenses. I could tell you can tell he's a film study guy in that defense as well. Never out of position, never fooled. I like Holland at number 8. Number 7, the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. Mathieu is better than you think. I hear differing opinions on him. Some years, I mean, the pro football, it's kind of up and down. I think he is a complete safety. Getting a little older, I think that's the reason why I have him a little bit lower than I used to. But Mathieu, I think is the real deal. Definitely a guy who can hit, play free safety, play strong safety. Definitely excellent reader of coverages. Very versatile. Like you could put him anywhere on the field. I definitely think he's one of these guys. The first, unlike these other 3 in the category, put him at linebacker, I think he's fine. Put him at corner, I think he's fine. So I've always liked his versatility. If you want him to call the defenses, he can do that. Want to freestyle, he can do that. I think he's got definitely a lot of versatility. A little older now. I think there might be a little bit of slippage, but Honey Badger is outstanding. Kyle Duggar, I think, is terrific for the Pets. Duggar, I think, is not the biggest safety in the league for sure, but definitely kind of reminds me a little bit of Bob Sanders. He's more effective than what you think on the field. Definitely he hits well, and definitely he is a leader for sure. He's definitely one of the leaders on Jerry Mayo's defense as well. I think he probably is one of the defensive studs. Their secondary is really good. Again, dude has a versatility of skills. That's what you see with Duggar. He does a lot of things. A little more understated, and the team isn't real good. But Duggar, I think, is no joke. I think he just got a contract, I believe, and he's outstanding. Like to see, only thing with him, like to maybe see a few more picks, but that's the only thing that's issue there with him. Derwin James, another one is a lot of versatility. I think James, I had him 1 last year. I have him at 5. I definitely think this guy is the complete package. Once again, injuries, not healthy enough, in and off the field, things like that. But James, I think, has the ability to be the best corner, the best safety in the NFL. I definitely think he doesn't get credit for hitting, but he's definitely a solid hitter. Absolutely. I think that's very, very underrated. People talk about his coverage skills and all that stuff, but he, like, when you've been hit by him, you know it. He has both. You can be a top 5 safety if you can hit and cover as well. But injuries, I think, have kept him off the field a little bit more. I think he was kind of feeling his way a little bit last year, but I definitely think he's top 5. Jim Harbaugh's got to be enormously excited to have Derwin James back for a full season. Mike Fitzpatrick, I mean, this is no surprise. This guy's top 5. I think definitely he might be one of the leaders, if not the leader, of the Steeler defense as well. Look, how many times do you see a team trade a first-round pick to get a safety, and it works out? Because that's how good Micah Fitzpatrick is. Look, I don't think he's Troy Polamalu or Ryan Clark, but he's a combination of both. I think he definitely scours the field well. Great range. Kind of like Marcus Williams, but I think he's got a little more thunder than a Marcus Williams. He kind of gets there and hits as well. He's the guy, I think, if you're playing, the quarterback has to account for him at all times. Now we're in this category where you have to know where Mike Fitzpatrick is at all times. I think the Steelers defense probably only other J.J. Watt on that defense where he has more of an impact than Fitzpatrick. I love him a lot. I think he's definitely, Squealers have an outstanding safety. Here's a guy, I got to admit, he's kind of shown me something in the last few years. I didn't love him when he was with Cincinnati, but Jesse Bates was outstanding last year. I almost kind of didn't believe it because he was but he shows so much more aggression now. The aggressiveness is there. He's kind of not just hanging around. He's another one. Hits with bad intentions. Absolutely. Jesse Bates, I think, is definitely, I have him in the top 3. He's always had some coverage skills, but he just looked a little more timid. Now, I think with the Falcons now, you could tell they're bestowing leadership on him. I thought he was fantastic last year, got a big contract, absolutely deserves it on a much better Falcons team. Bates is 3. Definitely Bates, definitely in consideration for 1. Top 2 were pretty close. We're pretty close here. But I'm going to go with Antoine Winfield as second. Is 1. I think as a safety, he does a lot well. I think he might be the best hitting safety in the league. You talk about Derwin James and Fitzpatrick really hitting, guys who can cover, run a lot. This guy is might be the best hitting safety in the league. I don't think there's any question about that. Bucks believe in him. They gave him a long-term extension. I think he covers very well as well, like on the outside. Always impressed with him. So don't see a lot of space with him. But I think Antoine Winfield is tremendous. If somebody was to say 1, I don't have a big problem with that. I think Antoine Winfield is really good. 1, but 1 and 2 were really close. But our guy, Kyle Hamilton, number 1. Nothing he doesn't do on the field. It's funny, like at training camp, this is why you don't worry too much about training camp. I was reading a couple years ago when he was a rookie, didn't have a great first camp, kind of struggled a bit, and now look at him. I think there's nothing he doesn't do. Blitz well, runs well, covers well. You could put him in the nickel corner spot, put him at the free safety, put him at the strong safety, put him at linebacker, tackles well. He's going to probably, if you pick somebody who's going to get the most sacks at this position, Kyle Hamilton. You pick somebody who might get a lot of picks, Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton nothing he doesn't do well. He could put him at 6 or 7 different spots. Kyle Hamilton saw it for real in the Jags game when Trevor Lawrence was like, "What 14? What 14?" Like he was calling it out. Yet you gotta count for what Hamilton is at all times, or you're gonna have problems. Kyle Hamilton, number one safety in the league. There you go. So those are the top 10 safeties in the NFL. Kyle Hamilton, number one. Some people might say that's a little purple, but I mean, you got to watch Hamilton play. Hamilton is the real deal. He's no joke. Definitely a top 10 safety in the league. Guess what's happening on Saturday afternoon? August 31st, 2024 at Capital One Field, formerly known as Bird Stadium. We got a Terps season opener. The 8-5 Maryland Terrapins against the Yukon Huskies. 3-9 football, not basketball. If you're thinking about Yukon. Starting the season. Huskies possibly going into the Big 12. We'll see. I think they were totally abandoned by their school program. They've been working as an independent after they went into the Big East. They were in the old Big East football conference. Big East went to all basketball. That's how the Americans started. And they kind of were left out in the cold after that. They went back into the Big East, Yukon basketball, and they kind of left them as independent. So they are trying to turn things around as possible. They go into the Big 12. I'm sure anybody would want the Yukon basketball in their conference. So we will see how this goes. Name some of you might know. Jim Mora is the head coach of the Yukon Huskies. I don't think this is right. I think this is his third season. I'm sorry about the graph, but third season as the head coach of the Yukon Huskies. Coached in the NFL many years ago. Dad coached in the league playoffs. Jim Mora, playoff. That old line, we can't win a game. We're going to make playoffs. So that was his dad. Jim Mora coached in the league for a while. Third season at Yukon as the head coach. Their starting quarterback, Nick Evers, looked pretty good in some of the stuff that I saw. He's going to start. He just won the starting job. He's a transfer, bit of a mobile quarterback. You're going to see a lot of run, a lot of rollout with him. Decent enough passer, I think. This is a better team for opening game. And I think I said this in the Maryland preview video, which is available right down in the description. Then we think then what they've been doing, Towson and Howard and that stuff. This isn't that. This is not a great team, but a better record than they realize. Local product, local for Yukon, for Connecticut rather. Cam Edwards, he had 123 carries, 618 yards, 4 TDs. They're probably going to be their number one running back. They figured to run the ball a lot. They have a young quarterback. He is a junior, one of their captains. Also to Brent Buckman, grad student, 46 receptions, 488 last year. Kind of reminds me of the NFL, maybe not to the same level, but a Julian Edelman type, across the middle, crafty type receiver, that type. Probably he's going to be their best receiver. He's going to be looking for him. Very young receiving group. He is the vet of the group there. On defense for the Huskies, probably their two best guys. Bryce Yates out of Yukon, 4.5 sacks. Durante Jones, 72 tackles at safety. They're going to be their leaders. Jones, I think, is really good tackler as well from everything I saw. Yates, 4.5. I think they're going to prime full-time at the edge rush this year. So definitely those are the guys the Terps are most going to have to worry about. Who starts at quarterback in the post-Tungavailoa era? MJ Morris, Billy Edwards from Yukon, Billy Edwards. He's not saying, I didn't think he would. A lot of times the coaches, they don't want to say what's going on. But I didn't think he'd say. But he's not saying. I think we're going to see MJ Morris. Pretty sure we'll see both guys in this game. A lot of times these coaches in college, and like the NFL, it's a little bit different, I think, with a situation like this. We're not going to know, I think, until maybe October. They're going to kind of use these games as preseason games Maybe we'll see Cameron Edge as well, the other quarterback, but I think you'll see these two guys mostly at it, I'm thinking. Roman Hemby, so let's see if he can handle the bell cow roll. 680 yards, kind of fell out of favor, I thought, kind of a little bit last year, but he's definitely one of their captains on Saturday. Definitely he's going to be expected to carry the load with all of the transfers that they had. Caden Prather and Ty Felton are back, so that's good news for the Terps. So they really had a three-headed monster last year. Prather, Ty Felton, and along with Ja'Shawn Jones. Ja'Shawn Jones is expected to be the best receiver. These two guys really complemented him well. So I'm sure whoever they're catching passes from are probably happy to see these guys back in the uniform. Ruben Hippolyte, I don't think, no question, he's their best defender, at least at the start. 42nd tackles. I'd love to see him move him outside. Like to see him get a little pass rush because he's so quick off the ball up the middle. I think he can do that, but I think definitely they're going to use him. I would like to see defense be a little bit more aggressive. Attack more in this one. May not show up in this one. Derek frankly should have this one in hand. I do think this will not be 60-0 like we've seen. I think this will be close for half, and they'll pull away. Maryland, I think 25, like 30-10, something like that. I don't think UConn has enough horses yet, but I do think it'll be close for half. So I can't wait, man. I'm ready. Saturday, 12 o'clock, FS1, Fox Sports app. Definitely check it out. That's how I check it out on the Fox Sports app. Saturday, 12 o'clock at the former Bird Stadium, Capital One Field. All right. So, okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get this squared away. So Undisputed now is gone. FS1 had the breakfast ball that started this week. I think they're getting all the sets ready for the new show, The Facility. But I was thinking about it that last week, and what I was saying a few weeks ago, it's like I'm not that excited about what they're actually putting out there now. So, not that it won't be good or whatever, but I think like, and also too, they were in a situation where they didn't have much time. I mean, I think they just kind of just putting this together as they go. I don't think the word is nobody even knew like this was going to go down like this, so they had to put something together quick because football season started. So, what should replace Undisputed? What do you think? This is something where I would think fans would get more excited about, right? So I got a list of a few things here that they would do. Obviously, one would be Ravery Sports. I guess they would never ask me to go ahead and go on FS1, but there's a lot of shows that are out there. I think they would do better with these. There's the top 2 or 3. I think would be something that they could have considered. These are not going to happen, but I do think they are decent enough ideas. I think for whatever reason they won't happen, this reason, etc. But I don't think it would happen for various reasons. I think Bill Simmons' podcast, I think, would be a good idea. I think Bill Simmons is just interesting. I think, though, the problem with him is you got to let him do podcasts and let him do what he wants to do, and he's never really done that on television. So I think got to get him to do what he wants to do, give him complete autonomy to do something there. Also, the other problem with Bill Simmons is he's kind of been seen a couple times. So it wouldn't really be new. I don't know how excited what people would be going up against him on Undisputed Take. Interesting to see how that would go. So that would be one. Plugging my computer there. I'm sorry. Thank you for your cooperation. So Bill Simmons, we were talking about that. The Heights with Jason Kelsey. Obviously, that's not going to work on an everyday basis because Kelsey's still playing in the NFL. I think that would have been a good idea. I definitely think somebody should do that before, but to actually do that, I think would be interesting to go ahead and get those guys and see what their interest would be. I think somebody's going to take that, I think, once Travis Kelce does retire. Jason Kelce is going to be on ESPN. Pivot podcast. I don't think that's that bad. I think to go that route would be an interesting route to go. I think that show is a little different in terms of that. I would definitely speak to Ryan Clark and those guys and see if that's something to go against First Take. I definitely think you definitely be going in a different direction, but I think it's a pretty good interview show. I see a lot of what's that? I almost want to say real sports when I see the Pivot podcast. It's very it's almost a bit nerdy for morning TV, but it's very intellectual. I think that would be a good idea. And my boy Kwame Brown, Bus Life, he's hilarious. It wouldn't work because I don't think he would ever take a job on Fox and tone him down. But he's definitely, people would get mamas cooking on a regular basis. I think people would hate seeing him. Like there's a segment of players that would hate seeing Kwame on there every week. But I love the idea of getting Kwame. Number 5. Oh, that's not 5. Number 5. I'm sorry. Number 5. Cole Cubic and Greg McElroy. I think they're actually working together in Birmingham. I don't think a lot of people know them. I think when you have a tandem, a radio tandem like this, the mistake a lot of these radio TV guys make is they pick one guy and take the team, take them both. I think this is one of the better radio shows in the country. I think McElroy it could be a big star in media at some point. I think you already see him kind of working on Fox a little bit, going to college football. I think Cole Cubic, I think this would be good. I think take both of these guys here. Would be interesting. I think that's not a bad idea at all to take these guys. Pardon my take. I'm kind of surprised that this it kind of didn't take on the ESPN again, allowing guys to kind of get more room, which I think is the problem when I think with the TV as a general. But pardon my take, I think is good. It's not necessarily my favorite, but their numbers are undeniable. I mean, these guys have every podcast number. I think it would work on television. It's a little bit more traditional-ish, kind of silly. It's kind of like you would kind of go into the McAfee audience a little bit. That somebody that would like that would like Pardon My Take, kind of silly, every morning. I think this would really work well as far as Undisputed. Not as serious as Pivot Pod, but yeah, it's kind of like you kind of would be dipping into that McAfee audience a little bit. I don't think they do it, but they should. Cam and Mace, it is what it is. What they've been able to build in a short amount of time is terrific. These guys Mace's was a terrible rapper. Just a terrible rapper with Buffy. That show's hilarious. I think they would go in a different direction. You would never know what you would see on that. And you're talking about an African-American audience like First Take. These guys would definitely tap into that, definitely take audience away from that as well. I think Cam and Mace, I think being that they were music, you would see a lot of different types of things as far as music. So I would definitely talk to them, see if I could get a deal with them. This show doesn't exist. Max Kellerman, I think, who would be more motivated to take down First Take than this guy? Stephen A's kind of been making fun of him publicly, things like that. I don't know what the terms of the contract are, but I absolutely would put Max Kellerman and let him do what he wanted to do at 10 o'clock next to First Take. I think you could say they try. I think this would be much, much, much better. I think Kellerman is way more talented too, and I think in a larger sense than a Skip Bayless is in terms of being an overall broadcaster. Because he did for years. He was on boxing. He's done like Around the Horn. So I don't think he's pigeonholed it just into the debate thing. He can evolve it and things like that. I'm really excited to see Max, whatever he does. So that's one. Number 1, I think Gil's Arena. I'm shocked somebody hasn't called him. Gil's Arena is I mean, Gilbert Arenas, I think to see a content creator kind of be like this at the beginning and to see what he's built on Gil's Arena, I think would be great. I think also too, I don't care that they only talk basketball. I don't care. I think that's something else. Again, pulling away your African American audience, a lot of it on First Take, etc. You could definitely pull from that with Gil's Arena, having Kenyon Martin, Rashard McCants, guys like that. I definitely think that would work, pulling away the audience from First Take. I got no problem with Gil's Arena taking that spot. So they're not going to do any of that. But those are some shows. Definitely check all those shows out. Obviously, Kelman doesn't have a show, but definitely check all those guys out and see what all the numbers are. Those guys are interesting. There's so much out here now. And so definitely check those guys out if you've never seen them before. All right. So let's go talk a little. It is it.
Oh, put me in cold. I'm ready to play this game. Oh, put me in cold. I'm ready to play this game. Oh, put me in cold. I'm ready to play this game. Oh, put me in cold. I'm ready to play.
All right, let it play a little bit because this is the last one. Baseball summer is over. Now we're heading into fall, and one of the outstanding tournaments of the year, one of my personal favorite things to watch at the end of the summer, the Little League World Series championship game. It was this was awesome. This was really. I'm telling you guys, if you only watch Oriole games, and I know some of you are only watching Oriole games, etc., you Baltimore sports fans, I'm telling you, this thing, it was terrific. They do have some ringers. That's my biggest complaint. I didn't see as many ringers this year. Like the kid last year, hit the home run. Like he was like tall enough to be my. I mean, he was tall enough you'd have thought that I was his kid. I mean, that's how tall he was. But this was great. 2-1. Chinese Taipei was there from Taiwan. They lost the game 2-1 to Lake Mary, Florida. 2-1 in this game. This was so well played. So well played game on both sides. I thought it was. A lot of times you watch Little League games, right? I play Little League. A lot of guys, if you have children out there, you're watching them play Little League. What's the score of these games, right? It's 20-19. There's 18,000 hits, 14. I mean, this is why you have a championship game. You have outstanding play. The Williamsport crowd, I think the stadium is gorgeous out there in Williamsburg. It's perfect. It's about as perfect a venue you're going to have. They must have been packed. There must have been at least 10,000 out there, 10,000 people out there to watch those kids play. These are the best, obviously, young people in the world playing. Taiwan, I think, was excellent through the series, winning the championship pretty decisively over Venezuela. The U.S. team, Lake Mary, actually getting to the finals, I thought it was excellent. I thought the final game was so well played. So well played. Outstanding. I felt so bad for the young guy here that lost it here at the end. Chu Wei-Che, he was the pitcher, played a little right field, made a throwing error to the first base side that on an outstanding bunt that was there. So what happened was, to just describe it, was at the end of the game, there was a bunt to the first base side, right? Obviously, they weren't expecting. So he goes in from the pitcher's mound, runs in, picks up the ball. The first baseman comes down also to pick up the ball. So the pitcher off the mound was the first one there picking up the ball, which is fine, which is the right thing to do. He was right. Instinctively, he scoops up the ball, throws it to first base, but nobody's at first base. The first baseman went down to pick up the ball, which is not which I don't know what the manager told him, but it does happen. Sometimes you have to make that decision. So if they both go, the second baseman is supposed to go catch the ball, right? You're supposed to cover first. Second baseman never covered first. But instinctively, he did the right thing. He throws the ball. That goes into the outfield, goes into right field. They go around, score, and they win the game 2-1 in the eighth inning as well. I can't. That was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely well played on both sides. Shout out to both teams as well. Definitely, please, definitely check that out on YouTube if you haven't seen it, or definitely go to the ESPN app and check it out. I thought it was outstanding stuff from both sides. Breathless. Breathless, absolutely, absolutely great stuff on that team. Again, Chase Anderson, did want to mention him, 12 years and 8 months from Stanford, Illinois. Lathan Norton, he was the guy, 12 years, 8 months. I want to mention those two. Chase Anderson hit the long ball in the game as well, had that big hit late in the game, was outstanding. Lathan Norton came in the game late. They were when they were on their last out losing, he came in and shut it all down for the Chinese Tide, shut Chinese Peite all down late in the game. It was fantastic. 2-1 Little League World Series championship for our last baseball summer.
Oh, put me in cold.
So that's it for our baseball summer. Thank you for joining us all summer with baseball. Keeps us company. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed baseball summer. May expand it next year. You never know. We're going to be expanding it, seeing if we're going to be talking a little bit more, not just a segment. Maybe we'll do a little bit more. Still thinking about that as well. So let's talk a little bit about the orange and black, the Orioles. All right, couple of things here. We're still in playoff contention. Okay, let's just keep that in mind. All right, we're still in second place, a little bit behind the Dodgers. Okay, other thing as well, we are still having a ton of injuries right now. Okay, that is the thing. I see a lot of panic, a lot of this stuff happening. It's not, the sky is not completely falling. Won last night at the Dodgers, which was good, 3-2. I think the offense has really started to struggle. I mean, when I did a hot and cold, I do that every week and study it. Man, it was hard to find guys who've really been well offensively. There's a couple long balls, but it's really starting to struggle offensively. But they're finding ways to get some wins regardless, even in spite of all the circumstances. So I think we need as fans to move into, hey, somehow they're getting this done. Somehow they're getting this thing. Split 4 games against the Astros as well. Kind of the same. The long ball by Holiday, the long ball by Santander. They're finding ways to get close wins. You're to the point now. You're almost in September. We're going to recap the month next week. Win. Survive. That's where we are right now. Ramon Urias playing well the last few weeks as well. Colton Cowser hitting the home runs, I think, very good in the outfield. Colano Perez been good out of the bullpen lately. No question about it. Ryan O'Hearn, not great lately. Broke out of it a little bit. Had the long ball last night for the first time in a while. And Austin Slater, not doing much offensively. We need Adley to show back up. Adley and Gunnar falling down a little bit kind of is causing a lot of this. We got to get them ramped back up here, Adley and Gunnar. Also, Orioles announced right-hander Brad Kurtz was claimed off waivers from the Reds. Moved Nick Vespi designated for assignment. I saw somebody this week saying Nick Vespi got screwed with the post. I totally agree with him. Kind of like it's put him in the same bucket with Kyle Stowers. No matter how well he played, you're going down. I agree. I think Nick Vespi's ERA was under 4 the whole time. I think he pitched fairly well, but they just never saw him as a plans and they sent him down. He is not coming back to the Orioles. Picked up, looks like, by another team. Orioles Monday, Ryan Mountcastle went on the 10-day injury list, retroactive to August 23. Baltimore brought up utility man Levon Soto from Triple A as well. Orioles announced that Bruce Zimmerman, a lot of y'all like Bruce, sent down, cleared waivers, has been outrighted to Triple A. So Bruce is still hanging around. I know some of you guys like Bruce. Bruce, I think the best take I heard on Bruce, he was a 4A player. He's good in the minors. He's, but he's not good in the majors. He's good enough to be a good AAA pitcher, but that's it. He's not a good major league pitcher. Maybe he'll have a season or two that's good in the bullpen, but that's it. But I didn't want to mention Bruce. So, I know a lot of y'all like Bruce. Orioles Wednesday claimed Forrest Wall off waivers and optioned him to AAA. Designated Dylan Tate for assignment. Dylan Tate, the fall from grace is real. I mean, this guy was one of, not that long ago, 2022 was one of their key guys. Really a big part of their bullpen that they had. And it's just, he's really just, again, numbers don't reflect the lack of confidence Brad and Hyde has in them. Maybe, right, a lot of sabermetric nerds say it, but not reflected on the field. Orioles have claimed Emmanuel Rivera off waivers from the Marlins. Open up a 40-run shot by designated Taron Vavra for assignment. Vavra, I think, already been picked up by the Marlins. I think that was. I know a lot of you guys like Marva, but Rivera is picked up on waivers from the Marlins. Try anything at this point. They have so many guys injured. You got Mountcastle hurt. Eflin, Rodriguez, they were pitching off the mound. So maybe some progress there as well. Mullins has been battling injuries for a while. I think, yeah, so making through in the maintain phase, trying to dive in and out, keeping it going. Couple more. Rockies this week, Colorado, not very good. White Sox, I don't even know what to say. How do you lose 100 games before September? That's like a video. They wouldn't even let you do that in MLB The Show. Get a video game. How do you lose that many games? Crazy. Orioles playing them this week. So hopefully you can win some of those games. They can find a way to win. Not a lot of offensive production play of the week. I'm going to give it to Santander. I think probably that homer against the Astros was huge. Huge for the morale. Huge for everything that's going on. Emotional leader as well. So he's going to be very rich in the offseason having the season he's had. All right. Thank you, Oriole fans, Raven fans. Enjoy all the game. Go Terps for the first time. We will see you next week for the Raven Sports Podcast. This week also to remember our NFL predictions videos. Saturday, Genesis Notary Services on Sunday, NFL predictions. Monday, Genesis Notary Services. Y'all have a great day. Enjoy all the games.